It's been well over 2 years since we saw Brock Lesnar last seen in WWE. The last time we did see him, it was actually at SummerSlam in 2023 when he lost to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, giving him his flowers as a sign of respect. Fast forward, fast forward 2 years later, randomly he decides to make a triumphant return. But the question is why? Why did Brock Lesnar return after 2 years? Well, the reasons might just shock you, and there's actually 4 reasons for it. And let's talk. And in this video, we are going to be talking about those reasons and what the future could hold for Brock Lesnar with this run in WWE. So the first reason is actually something that Michael Cole had mentioned last night on Raw. He said that he had talked to WWE President Nick Khan and the Chief Content Officer of WWE Hall of Famer Triple H, Paul Levesque, and they both said that they felt like it was time for him to come home, and it was the right move. It was the right time for him to come home. Now that brings us to the second thing, because Triple H said on the post show the other night, this past Sunday, that John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar back in WWE. So this now ties into the big question: who do we believe? Do we believe John Cena, or do we believe both Nick Khan and Triple H? Obviously, yes, we will find out about that this coming Friday on SmackDown, when it emanates from Montreal, which will be very interesting. Which will be very interesting, to say the very least. We're not really sure if the fans of Montreal are going to be cheering for Cody, or if they're going to boo him out of the building like they did inside MetLife Stadium. Only time will tell. But that brings us to a third reason. And the third reason is and I know I shouldn't bring this up on YouTube because of the algorithm, but if you guys recall earlier this year, back in January or February, I believe it was back in February, I did a complete in-depth review of the Vince McMahon docuseries that is still available on Netflix, where it talks about Vince, about Vince's life, his career, his legacy, and how he became arguably one of the most shrewd businessmen in professional wrestling, and it also talks about all the lawsuits that he had dealt with over the years, which included the lawsuit involving the use of steroids, the lawsuit regarding the death of Owen Hart, and of course all of these sexual allegations that were pointed towards Vince over the years, including the one that Brock Lesnar got caught in the crosshairs of, featuring Janelle Grant, which I know again I know I should not have brought that up on YouTube because of the algorithm, but I wanted to bring it up because this was a massive ordeal, right? And I was gonna do a video where I talked about how TKO had banned Brock Lesnar from WWE because of it, according to several news sources, including Sportskeeda and of course the Wrestling Observer, where the reason for Brock Lesnar being banned from WWE was because of those allegations. Apparently, WWE's legal team had expunged all the allegations towards Brock Lesnar, and now Brock Lesnar is back. But We don't know, but we don't know how long he's going to be in WWE for. And that brings us to the fourth reason why he is back. It is again, as I just touched on earlier, John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar back so he can fight Brock Lesnar at a later time. Odds are we're probably gonna end up seeing that match at Clash in Paris at the end of the month, or we could potentially see it at Crown Jewel. Is it possible? 100%. Absolutely. It is 100% possible that we could see it take place at Crown Jewel. But with John Cena's schedule, with him being scheduled to be a part of Clash in Paris, I would assume that we're going to see Brock Lesnar versus John Cena for the final time at Clash in Paris, which would be a huge ordeal, considering the fact that with Brock Lesnar, he had been in more main events in WWE with his second run with this time in WWE than any other person has it ever. In fact, let's see. Let's see. So overall, he has been a part. If I can try and no, that's not gonna work. Main event. WWE. Main event match was Brock. I'm trying to look up. Okay, so overall, Brock Lesnar has been a part of 79 matches since he came back to WWE back in 2012. That was over 13. That was literally 13 years ago, which included 6 WrestleMania main events, and 6 main event matches at SummerSlam, and it also involves as well several other main event matches at PLEs, like Extreme Rules, Night of Champions, as well as Backlash as well against Cody. So he's been a part of so many main event matches throughout his whole career. And again, the last match that Brock Lesnar was in was at SummerSlam in 2023 in a losing effort against Cody Rhodes. So one could argue that maybe Brock Lesnar came back to not only finish what he started with John Cena, but also finish up the rivalry with Cody and potentially become an 11-time world champion, tying WWE Hall of Famer Edge with that many reigns, which would make him, I believe they would be tied for fifth most amount of world title reigns in WWE. I believe it's John Cena is in first place with 17. Ric Flair is in second with 16. And then I think Triple H and Randy Orton are tied for third place with 14. And then I think 13-time world champions. I don't think there is any. I think maybe Hulk Hogan, if I remember correctly. And then I believe tied for 6th place, I think, is Edge and I think in sixth place I believe is Edge, and then Brock Lesnar is down there at 10. So if he were to win an 11th world title, he would be tied with Edge, tied with Edge in, I believe, fifth. I think fifth place, if I remember correctly. So it's possible, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I believe, and I'm actually saying this because I feel like it's probably bound to happen. I feel like that this return is only temporary, and the only reason why I say that is because Brock Lesnar, he's literally, I think he's in his 40s, isn't he? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brock Lesnar is 40, is 48. Yes, he can still go. Yes, he's still fit as ever. But when you really really think about it, the question becomes, how much time does Brock Lesnar even have left as a professional wrestler? Does he even have any more championship reigns left in him? How many, how much time does he have to, before he can truly retire? At this point, there's really no telling. There's really no telling. But because of all of these allegations that were pointed towards the Beast, one could argue that it was actually John Cena's idea to bring him back so he can fight Brock Lesnar, and then Brock Lesnar can just go on and do whatever Brock Lesnar wants to do. I believe that this will only last until potentially Crown Jewel, either until Crown Jewel or until Clash in Paris, which will take place on September 31st at the end of the month. It's very possible, but this will be interesting because obviously, yes, John Cena is going to be talking about it this Friday on SmackDown, but as far as Brock goes, no one knows if we'll see him show up on SmackDown this Friday. Maybe it might be next week on SmackDown. It could be next week on Raw, for all we know. And again, it's been 2 years. It's been 2 years since we last saw Brock Lesnar. But again, the question becomes, whose idea was it? Was it John Cena's idea? Was it Triple H's idea? Was it Nick Khan's idea? Was it TKO's idea? Who came up with the plan to bring Brock Lesnar back to WWE? Again, my opinion, I feel like it was John Cena, because this entire tour that he's been on, he chose to work with people that he has unfinished business with. He had unfinished business in the Royal Rumble match, and unfortunately he failed. He actually got second place before being eliminated by Jey Uso. He won the Elimination Chamber, which I believe that would have made it his I believe in fact, John Cena has actually won four. He has won 4 Elimination Chamber matches. The first one was back in 2006, where he successfully retained the WWE title at New Year's Revolution. Then, of course, in 2010, when he regained the title from Triple H, I believe it was from Sheamus, who ultimately got eliminated, and Cena made Triple H tap out. And then 1 year later, in 2011, qualifying to earn an opportunity at the WWE title, which became the worst WrestleMania main event of all time against The Miz. This past February was his fourth Elimination Chamber win in his entire career. So he was able to make history on that. In fact, I believe if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is. Yeah, yes, I believe it is both John Cena and Triple H holding the record for the most chamber victories with 4. So that right there alone is history on its own. He was able to win his last WrestleMania match against Cody, which we knew that the heel run wasn't gonna last long, which was fine by me. I didn't have any problems with it. Well, sort of anyway. Anyway, he worked his matches with R-Truth. He competed in his last match at Money in the Bank. Worked his last match with CM Punk at Night of Champions. Had a rematch with Cody this past Sunday, and now it's Brock Lesnar. The question now becomes, after Brock Lesnar, win or lose, who's next? Could it be The Rock? Could it be The Undertaker? No, I don't think it'll be The Undertaker. I think it'll probably be someone like maybe Roman Reigns, maybe Seth Rollins, because I know that he still has a lot of beef with those two. So maybe, who knows? But as far as Brock goes, I feel like this is only going to be temporary. I don't really know if it will be or not, but hypothetically speaking, let's say it is temporary, right? If it does become temporary, then this will probably be the last time that we will see Brock Lesnar in WWE, because there were rumors that WWE had froze his contract after leaving WWE back in 2023 when he lost to Cody Rhodes. Rumors swirled that his contract froze. So that means that he might still have a little bit of time left in WWE. That brings us to another question that's been asked multiple times. Dream matches. What if? There was one massive what if. Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. Obviously the idea is still out there, but again because that we still don't know all the details of this return for the Beast, one could assume that that match might not take place. Another matchup that fans have been wanting is Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. 4 guys who literally despise the holy hell out of each other, going at it. Come on. Even you guys have to admit that's a pretty solid WrestleMania main event. But because that this would be considered for the biggest stars going at it in WWE's history, I don't even know if that match is even gonna be viable. Excuse me. I will say, I think I think that those two dream matches and then some. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see them just as much as you guys do, but even you guys know that it's probably not going to happen. I believe in my heart, in my heart, I truly believe that this run of Brock Lesnar's will be the final run that we will ever see of the Beast in professional wrestling. And the reason why I say that again is because of age. He's right now he's 48 years old, almost going 49, and the fact that people believe, in my heart, I believe that it was Cena that did this. So the fact that John Cena wanted Brock Lesnar back in WWE proves that this is only going to be temporary. But if it was Triple H and Nick Khan's idea, then this run of Brock Lesnar's might last about a year or so. So excuse me. So the dream matches of Gunther versus Brock Lesnar and that fatal 4-way with him, Punk, Rollins, and Reigns is still on the table. But if it was John Cena's idea, then this run will not last long. I will close out the video by saying this. No matter whose idea it was, this will be the final run for Brock Lesnar, at least for a very, very, very long while. And excuse me, at some point within the next 3 to 5 years, we will see Brock Lesnar get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. We're expected to see John Cena get inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. We're even expecting to see Bray Wyatt get his flowers in the Hall of Fame, which fans are still wanting to see that. Fans are still wanting to see Chyna get her flowers in the Hall of Fame. Hell, even fans want to see Owen Hart get his flowers in the Hall of Fame. But his wife, but Owen's widow wants nothing to do with WWE because of what happened at the pay-per-view known as Over the Edge back in excuse me, back in May of 1999, which I did talk about that in my review video of the Vince McMahon docu-series. So if you have not checked out that video, definitely check it out. But with that being said, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.